What's going on, you guys? Before we get into today's translation video, there is going to be a brief news bit here at the beginning that we need to go over and cover that was posted earlier on this morning. Now, as you can see, this is the 8.11 KOF Allstar maintenance and patch notice. So, as it says here, we will not be able to access the game as well as the official forums, customer support, or any of the other usual channels that are going to be connected to Netmarble and this game for a short period of time on 8/11 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as they go ahead and fix up a few things in the background. Now, as you can see here, these are going to be the various things that they will be shutting down during this maintenance: the game, the official community forum, the official websites, and customer support, as they go ahead and do the following. They are going to do pre-work on new fighters, battle cards, and event. I'm assuming that this has to do with the new epic quests that they are planning on releasing shortly here over the course of the next couple of weeks. The SS Kasumi fighter balance adjustment that they spoke about in a previous note. They also fixed an issue where SS Honoka's skill description was applied incorrectly. Only the skill description is modified, the skill performance will not change, so keep that in mind. The Dead or Alive 6 collaboration, Kasumi's victory expression / Honoka's defeat expression will be partially fixed. It is being modified to reflect the opinion of the Dead or Alive 6 original authors. So apparently the people over at Koei Tecmo are still on them, even about these little things here, so these things are also going to be addressed. And then they are also going to be fixing an issue where a part of a specific image was incorrectly exposed depending on a specific device or resolution. So this is a bunch of little things here in the background that largely most people will probably not notice, but that is what they are working on with this maintenance. So I just figured I would go ahead and let you guys know. So as always, do note whatever time zone that you are in when this maintenance will be, so that way you don't miss out on your dailies. And let's go ahead and get into today's video. Man, that dev video. Maybe big sad, you guys, not gonna lie. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff in today's video, and admittedly, some of it's going to be a little bit heavy. There was a lot that came out of this video, and as Steven and I were discussing it while he was translating it for me, there were a few things that we picked up on that I just feel like I should probably express in this video. So we'll go ahead and we'll get through the translations of this dev note, and then we'll go ahead and talk about those at the end. But as always, special shout out and thank you to StevenYoo of the Korean KOF AS Community for doing all of the translations here on the channel. But before we get into it, make sure if you guys have not already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe if you're new here, because we do daily King of Fighters Allstar content here on the channel. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Now here at the beginning of this Q&A, they just have a short little skit, and then the comment at the top of the screen says, "Manager Chrysalid, do some justice to Clone Zero. What happened to BS Chrysalid kicking his ass in the previous Boss Syndrome story?" And then we cut to this short Dead or Alive 6 collaboration trailer, and then we get into the Q&A. Hello you guys, this is Manager Chrysalid. As of now, we're in the Dead or Alive 6 collaboration event in celebration of the 3rd anniversary. We hope you guys are enjoying the game. Due to mandatory work-from-home policies, we're having difficulties filming interview videos at this time. Thus, for today's video, we'll explore the dev team cubes and go over the Q&A, including how Manager Chrysalid's YouTube channel was created. With the rapid increase in confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Korea, Netmarble has decided to force all employees to work from home. The office is dead quiet as of now. All meetings are now held remotely, and this is Manager Chrysalid alone in the office at the meeting room. And then we see a Zoom call where you can actually see the main director of the King of Fighters Allstar who's running the meeting, along with the rest of the dev team here in this clip. So that is going to be the man that calls all the shots and makes all of the big decisions when it comes to this game. I think this is one of the first times we've actually seen him on video. And then this is where we start to get into the actual questions in this Q&A. What was the purpose of creating a YouTube channel? This has been one of the ideas floating around the development team for quite a while, but we had not had enough time to actually start one, as we were extremely busy with work. Then one of the team members mentioned it again during our company dinner, and I was convinced to start one. I am in charge of most of the video plans, and the dev team and related departments are helping us to film. I also got to do the editing, so I learned everything from the internet. It really did take a lot of time to publish the first episode on YouTube. And then as you can see, this is him editing the Q&A videos and learning how to do it on his end. And then we also are going to get into a short clip of him unboxing a gimbal, which if you guys are not aware, is just going to be a mount that you can use for a camera. How did you feel about the comments in the YouTube videos? I have mixed feelings with YouTube comments. The comments in the second video of the Q&A series were a bit discouraging at the time. However, now I feel that even the negative comments are coming from good hearts with good interest in the game, and I am grateful for all the comments now. If there wasn't a single comment in the video, I believe that would have been more discouraging. Talking about the comments, I'd like to answer some of the questions. Why are you wearing long sleeves in summer? Aren't these pre-recorded videos from a long time ago? There are times when we film through multiple days, and if my clothes were changing every scene, I felt that it could be a little distracting to watch the video. So when filming, I try to put on this specific long sleeve every time. So apparently, people have been giving him trouble about his fashion sense. Go figure. There have been a lot of requests to put English subtitles in these videos. Are you planning to add English subtitles in the future? The answer is yes. We've reached an agreement with the management and will begin to add English subtitles starting with the next Q&A video. We're grateful for all of the support and interest from overseas. So yeah, I guess StevenYoo's out of a job, huh? Next question is going to be, can't Netmarble afford a proper mic? Why do you keep using smartphones for a microphone? We're aware of this issue, and thankfully we'll get a new proper mic pretty soon. Thank you for pointing this out so that I could get a new mic. So apparently all of the comments that pointed out the fact that he needed a microphone ended up prompting management to give him a microphone. So good on you guys, apparently. Is there a reason why old collaborations are hard to rerun? We've received numerous requests in regards to re-releasing old collaboration fighters. The reason is simply that every collaboration is bound to a contract with specific dates, as all revenues have to be split between Netmarble and the collaboration team. Unfortunately, Netmarble cannot rerun collaborations by ourselves. So if we were to rerun a collaboration, we'd have to start the contract from scratch, and that takes more time than what we might expect. There have been a lot of comments concerning whether or not Netmarble will extend their contract with SNK. We've seen many comments about how Netmarble could bait the players to spend money and close down the game soon after. We're currently in development for more updates and in the process of developing a new collaboration. There are still a lot of things to develop and present, so I hope you enjoy the game without any concerns. There have been a lot of future collaboration requests. We've received many collaboration requests with games and animes. I think the most memorable request was Steel Troops, as I was not expecting such requests. We've already submitted proposals to the management team and hope we can get good contracts. And this is where we start to get into the outro of this Q&A, but along with creating a YouTube channel, there has been one more project we have been looking forward to, and that is creating an original soundtrack album. This project has been started along with creating the YouTube channel, and we've made some decent progress, and it's almost in its final stage. We're always grateful and are thinking of our player base. And this is pretty much where it ends, you guys, so let's get into our thoughts. And that is going to do it for the translations for this Q&A. As always, thank you to StevenYoo of the Korean KOF AS Community for doing the translations for this and all of the previous Q&A videos in a timely fashion, especially with how busy I know he is. So if this does end up being the last Q&A video that Steven does translations for, being that they're going to start doing English subtitles in these, thank you for all of your hard work over the past several months, Steven. I appreciate you, buddy, and I know the community does as well. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the takeaways from this, because there were quite a few things that I had noticed, and me and Steven had talked about this, but I do think that they need to be talked about in this video here as I give my final thoughts on all this. Now, I know in the anime community, we always like to talk about how the animators are extremely overworked, and they always seem like they're very tired, and that they have just too many deadlines, all of these different things, and it really does take a toll on them. And I think that it's time that we start really looking at this development team in the same light. And the reason I say that, there's a couple. One of the big ones is the fact that we do know that this development team over the course of the past year was gutted in order to support other games, because those other games were nearing launches, and Netmarble had an all-hands-on-deck approach to making sure those games launched without a hitch. So that's one thing, and that would be tough on any development team, even in the best of times. But this picture really hit it home for me, you guys, and really gives you a good outlook on how things have been going for them over the course of the past year with the pandemic. I'm sure that they've been doing their best to try and roll out new content, new characters, all these different things to us in a timely fashion. But with the COVID situation, especially with shutdowns, as you can see, this is really tough on them, and I do think that they deserve a lot more credit than they get. I know that it has become the cool thing on the forums, especially on Reddit, on Discord, wherever you want to talk about this game. The cool thing has always become just picking on this dev team nonstop, and I get it in certain aspects, but at the same time, it does seem like nobody knows how to pick a battle anymore. It seems like any little thing that somebody doesn't like, they feel entitled to complaining about it and getting it fixed. And that's just not something that, one, is becoming of another person, nor is it anything that is going to help your case. When you really think about it, this photo tells it all. This guy has managers. This development team has a management team. They also are going to have a corporate management team. And these are the people that call the shots. They tell these people what they can and cannot do. You know, think about it this way. Maybe the development team sees our suggestions and brings them up on these calls to the management team, and they tell them, hey, this is what the community wants. And then the management team tells them, well, that's not what we want. And therefore, the development team either has to go against what the management team wants and get fired, or they have to do what they're told and keep their jobs. And that is really, I think, a universal truth that all of us can kind of relate to. Think about your own job. If your manager tells you you need to do something, or corporate has a new policy, you have to enforce it. That is something that you have to do. And it is maybe something you don't agree with. Maybe you don't like that idea. Maybe you know that people are going to be unhappy about it, but you still have to do it. And so I think that with that thought in mind, everybody really needs to think about the way that they talk about this dev team and to this dev team, because these are just people. Like this photo here, you can see his desk, you know, he's got photos of what I'm assuming is probably his girlfriend, and he's working on editing this video. He's already mentioned he works long hours, he's working alone in the office, and all these other things. You know, these are very human stories, you guys. These are things I think most of us, if we're adults, can relate to. And so I just wanted to point this out because this is something that does bother me. You know, I am big into anime, and I talk about this kind of thing with my friends quite a bit about different things, like for instance with what's going on with MAPPA at the moment. And so I think that for all of us right now, if we could just maybe leave a kind comment for these guys, maybe try to think a little bit more about how we speak to them. Maybe try to treat them less like they're robots and more like actual human beings. Try to be at least constructive in our criticism towards them. I know I've always tried to do that, and I've always preached that, but I do want to reiterate it at the end of this video because I think that mental health is important, and I think that especially as a YouTube creator and as an administrator for a Reddit as well as a Discord, I see more negative comments than most people will ever see in a lifetime on a weekly basis at this point. And I just feel like these guys deserve a little bit more credit. You know, as much as they are flawed, they are human beings, they do make mistakes. But can we really blame them for everything, or is it going to be the company that is really the problem? And I think that's the question you need to ask yourself, because it's an easy one to answer. But this was a very candid Q&A. I appreciated that about it, and I do look forward to the next few, because I do think that this guy is doing a good job with this channel, and I do think that this has been the best look into what goes on in the background that we've ever gotten with this game. But with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this beneficial. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Continue.